You know what time it is. Scotty Nation, stand up and represent the Navy and Gold as it's time to let everyone know this is Highland Community College. From the players who work hard and never quit, the coaches who strategize and game plan,
from the soles of your feet, with every ounce of blood you've got in your body, lay it on the line until the final whistle blows. And if you do that, we cannot lose.
And the fans who cheer. This is Highland Scotty Volleyball.
Welcome in today as we've got you action for Highland Community College Volleyball as they host the Highland Community College Invitational over the weekend. Scotties will open things up. I'm Mike Smith with you here, the new voice of the Scotties. We'll have coverage for you of today's matchup with play-by-play here against Northeast Oklahoma A&M College. Also, the Scotties will play later on tonight at 5 o'clock against Southeast, but also, against Southwestern Community College. They'll play two games tomorrow at 9 o'clock. You'll be able to catch the game here on the Scotties Sports Network as there'll be MCC Longview, the opponent. Will have play-by-play for that contest as well, and then they'll play at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So looking forward to being with the Scotties here this year as we get ready for volleyball action. The Lady Scotties are off to a great start so far this season. 4-1 record as they've played 5 matches. Went 4-0 at the Southeast tournament and Beatrice to open up the volleyball season. And great performances all around. Won 3 of the 4 in 4 sets, the other in 3 straight sets. Took on the number 7th ranked Division I team back on Wednesday in Indian Hills and almost came away with the victory on the road. Actually took the first 2 sets, but as Coach John Bingesser told me, kind of maybe the girls ran out of a little bit of a gas, and also, all-league player Leslie Polanco hurt her wrist in that contest and will be limited during the tournament and may not play in this matchup. We'll have to wait and see how that unfolds, but ultimately the Scotties well prepared for their action here at home. The Scotties have had an exceptional performance at the Scotty Classic and Invitational over the last 2 years under head coach Bingesser as they went 4-0 the last 2 years here in their home invitational, and they'll try to start this one off this year in the right fashion as well when they take on Northeast Oklahoma A&M College, who's only 2-1 on this season, so haven't logged as many games so far this year. But you have to go back to 2014 that these two teams last played each other, and it was a Highland victory back in 2014 against Northeast Oklahoma A&M College, and Scotties won in 4 sets in that affair, but that was back in 2014. So the teams obviously are quite different this time around when they'll play each other here in just a moment. Just about a minute and a half away from the action. Thanks for tuning in on the Scotty Sports Network, and of course Mike Smith with you here as the new voice of the Scotties. We'll have football coming up tomorrow afternoon as Highland football will host the number 3 team in the country in Garden City. Should be a good matchup in that one. We'll have that game here on the Scotty Sports Network as well, along with the volleyball showdown tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. So I'll have play-by-play of that specific contest, but you can catch all of the Scotties games from the tournament on the Scotty Sports Network, along with the Court 1 action from the HCC Invitational here this weekend. Of course, it'll span from today and tomorrow for the action for Highland Community College. Looking forward to seeing what they can do and unfold. Playing 20 sets in 5 matches so far has Highland this year. Head coach John Bingesser entering his 3rd season, 47 wins to 28 losses, and at home 18-5, looking to improve upon that record here today for the Scotties, playing the tournament action at Walters Wellness Center. Just about ready to roll for volleyball here today. Again, we'll have the coverage on the Scotty Sports Network of this court all throughout the rest of the day. You can find the schedule on ScottyAthletics.com. I will include all the Highland games, including tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I'll have the play-by-play of the matchup against MCC Longview. Best of 5 in college as far as the volleyball goes. Highland will be in their navy shorts with the gold tops, navy numerals and letters. The libero dons the navy jersey with the yellow numerals, while the opponent, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, in the blue shorts and white tops, blue numerals and letters for themselves here tonight. Sets up to be an interesting matchup. Highland has played all of the teams that they will be playing here in the tournament. You know, not too or all too recently. 3 of the 4 they've played actually just within the last year. The one that they haven't, that's Northeast Oklahoma A&M, the team that they're playing right now, of course. Up front, Taya Barnett's going to be able to be starting for this one. Ellie Smith as well. Zelia Kleitz on the floor alongside Jasmine Poyer on the back row. Scotties will go with Emma Kohala on the floor too, and she'll come out of the contest for the libero, Kirsten Johnson. And Scotties will set serve this one up just to get it underway. Katie Pearson. Pearson will serve this for Highland Community College. Right to left across your screen on the Scotty Sports Network. Picked up by the Lady Norse, and no answer. Quickly a Scotty strike with the first tally on the board. Great play by Pearson out of Kansas City, Missouri, the freshman. Of course, coming up big with a nice serve early on, and no answer from the Lady Norse of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Go with the spike over the far side, down the alley. Kleitz pumps it up, now pushed over by Barnett. Over to the far side, there's a back set and a good spike that time by Katie Heese of the Lady Norse. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M trying to get that. Nice punch into the air, but it goes right into the net, and underneath there, Kleitz trying to dive for it to save it, to no avail. Pearson in the vicinity too. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M gets a point on the board for themselves. Early 1-1. We'll see who can assert themselves with some dominance early on in this contest. Quick short set that time. What a rifling punch by Zelia Kleitz as she was able to knock that home. And a violation up at the net by Northeastern Oklahoma to put the tally on the board for Highland. Serve flips back to the Scotties. Taya Barnett put it in motion right in the middle. There comes the attack, blocked up front. No thank you card sent to the Lady Norse as they reject that one. The Scotties smother the shot at the net and make it a 3-1 start. Here the first game of the HCC Invitational. Serve continues from Barnett, the Kansas City, Missouri native freshman. Bumped up by the libero Johnson. Set up, little short attack. Dumps it over the top in the front line defense. Kleitz with another great play. More finesse style there that time with a little tap home over that front defense of the Lady Norse of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Serve continues to be in the favor of the Scotties. They're up by 3, 4-1. Set attack that time, and it falls home. The set attack is maybe a dangerous situation for teams if they're unprepared for it. Teams can catch you off guard, and that's exactly what Northeast Oklahoma A&M were able to accomplish against the Scotties that time to make it a 4-2 contest. Pushed up here, Pearson sets up Kleitz. Kleitz packs the pepper and punches it down and knocks it down with the kill for Zelia. Zelia from my hometown, actually, Osawatomie, so sharing something in common with one of the Lady Scotties is myself. Mike Smith, of course, the new voice of the Scotties with you here. Picked up on the back row by Kleitz that time and pushed into the net. It's now 5-3. Lady Norse getting the strike and the point for themselves. Crystal Montanez will serve it for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. They operate right to left across your screen, or on the far side of the court, if you're watching on the Scotty Sports Network, of course. Emma Kohala, yes! Wallops the shot down to the hardwood. Nice job there. Kohala coming in and making an instant impact. Emma is from Liberty, Missouri, the freshman, playing in the middle a majority of the time. And Kohala, 5 matches with 7+ kills so far here this year. And coming up big with an early one right now. Set attack by Smith up front. And the Lady Norse trying to answer. Go down the alley. It caroms off Kohala's hands. Falls down too. And Northeastern Oklahoma A&M holding tough against the Scotties early on, but Highland owning the 6-4 lead. Scotties unable to separate themselves at this juncture. Talionette Garcia for the Lady Norse sets that up. There's a set to the near side, punched up. Poyer gets blocked, though. Up front, great stuff. It was Juliet Moore, along with one of her teammates as well, combining for the double stuff. Charity Burdette for the Lady Norse. And that draws Northeastern Oklahoma A&M to within one. Kohala just punches it off the palm, keeps the volley alive. Cross-court set there that time, and that's back there on the end line. And Northeastern Oklahoma A&M perhaps finding some momentum at this juncture. We have a 6-6 tie in set number one of the first matchup of the HCC Invitational. Highland will play 4 games over the span of these 2 days. Poyer didn't get enough on it, hit the top of the net, didn't make it over. And Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has taken the lead. Their first lead of this first set as well. A 7-6 capacity. Bumped over the top of the back of her head. Kohala keeps the volley alive. Blocked there up front, but it squeaks through. Pearson and Kohala trying for the stuff, but squeaking it through off the hands of Juliet Moore for the Lady Norse. And right now, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has all the momentum in their favor. They just took the lead and have now put themselves up by 2 at 8-6. Pumped up sky high. Kohala attacks it, tries to rainbow it over the defense and sneak it in on the back row on that inline, but too far. A little too much arc to the shot from Emma. And now 9-6. The string and rash of points consecutively for the Lady Norse continue. Highland needs to find something to snap that. And there's a nice attack there, timed by Sydney Prine, who's checked in for the Scotties. Bumped up. Pearson's going to have a little set attack, sneak attack there on that back set by Pearson at the net. Nobody home on the back row. Johnson the closest in the vicinity, but maybe some miscommunication on who was to cover that back near side corner. And the Scotties continuing to reel right now after a solid start to this set. Down by 4 at 10-6. This is the largest lead for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Pearson with the set to Kohala. Kohala blocked, but it goes back to the Scotties. Quick punch back over by Pearson. And the Lady Norse save it over the top of their head. They send it back on the bump. Kohala's spike blocked, but stays on the Lady Norse side. They're back at the top of the net just in the nick of time. Get it over. Here on the near side again. Kohala swatted once more. Whistle, though, comes, and there's a fault at the net. The violation will finally end the run of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Something needed by Highland there to stymie what Northeastern Oklahoma A&M was able to stretch together. They worked to a 10-6 lead at that point, but ultimately Highland gets that mistake and miscue to see if they can capitalize upon it and try to get things going in their favor. The Holton product, Sydney Prine, puts it in motion now. Nice spike that flicks off the fingertips up front. It was Barnett striking that one. Try to go for the block. Good save by Smith, backing up the front line defense for the Scotties. The libero on the other side picks it up, and a spike down the alley. Wow, as Charity Burdette comes up with it for the Lady Norse. Highland started off strong to this matchup, and we're up by multiple points, but unsuccessfully being able to try to get back into this contest here at this juncture as they shoot themselves in the foot, does the Scotties. Head coach John Bingesser needs a timeout. The Scotties need to corral the troops. They're down by 5 at 12-7. Of course, you're listening to the HCC Volleyball Invitational on the Scotty Sports Network. We'll be back out of the timeout momentarily. Scotty's out of that timeout, looking to gain momentum back in their favor. Thanks for tuning in here on the Scotty Sports Network. Mike Smith, the new voice of the Highland Community College Scotties, with you. Play-by-play of today's affair, this one, and then, of course, tomorrow I'll have the 9 o'clock game as well, too. Kohala with a vicious strike, but picked up by the Lady Norse. They try to answer as they've set up Charity Burdett quite a bit, so that's something that Highland will have to watch out for Burdett on that far side hitter position. Back row, Johnson picks it up as the libero. Here's a set down the middle. Kohala strikes it. Picked up by Garcia of the Lady Norse. They try to go down the power alley, and there's another infraction. This is going to go on Highland up at the net with the fault. Swings it back to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, who's up 13-7. Don't want to make a mountain out of a molehill in this type of situation and have this lead, lead continue to grow for their opponent. Scotties want to fight right back into it. Not down by only 6 at the moment. Kohala will sneak it in. It looked like may fall home there, and it does. No, it did get out of bounds. Excuse me. Stand corrected. 14-7. And nice sneak attack that time, but they're going to call the lift. Wow. Just cradled enough there that time by the Scotties up front. They try for the set attack, but comes with the lift call instead, and now 15-7. Highland playing Northeastern Oklahoma A&M last in 2014, won that match in 4 sets. Here's Kohala, gets it right through the defense and discombobulated right there. That time was the Lady Norse, no one able to get the answer. They thought they would get the clean block, unsuccessful on that attempt, and Kohala will see it fall home off of her spike. Johnson will set to put this one in motion. The Topeka, Kansas native serves it up. They go to the far side. That answer is none as it goes out of bounds. So Johnson with another great serve. Johnson started off the set with some great serves early on for the Scotties to kind of put things in motion, but quickly things unraveled. There's a setup down the middle and a smash home by the Lady Norse of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. They'll send in a substitution to take over the serving duties. Marley Hensley will come in to serve. 16-9, Highland trailing in this matchup. Pearson sets it up down the middle. Kleitz with a nice smash, but again, they're right in the proper angles is the Lady Norse. Highland digs it out of the net and pushes it over on a punch by Kleitz up front. They'll try for the block there, but another spike that threads the needle on the near sideline. And Northeastern Oklahoma A&M finding the proper avenues and gaps in the Scotty defense right now, making it 17-9. Also, Highland has just put the spikes for themselves in kind of right in the spots where the Lady Norse have been. Scotty's send it with this one with Sydney Prine. Actually, they call it double hit now on Highland. So the miscues on top of the execution by Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has allowed them to establish an 18-9 lead here in set 1. And that's spiked by Prine, and she's frustrated as it was just swatted right back in her face. And 19-9, a 10-point lead. This is the largest margin of the first set either way. Pearson up front alongside with Mallory Wagner, who's checked in. Wagner set up with an opportunity from Pearson's set. Kleitz along the front line too, and that one rainbows over the defense, just hitting the end line and sneaking in. Miscommunication once more leads to another tally for the Lady Norse against the Scotties. Koyorosco back on the back row. Jasmine Poyer picks up the serve. Kleitz will bump it over the back of her head. Wagner with a nice spike. Dug out on that back row. They set it up to the far side. Punched down by Katie Heese. And it's flicked off the Scotties' fingertips. Again, Leslie Polanco, the honorable mention All Jayhawk Conference player, second team All-Region last year. Hurt wrist, so limited perhaps in the opportunities that she'll see here today. Hasn't seen any action in this first set quite yet. Poyer picks it up on the back row, bumped up over the top of her head. Wagner taps it over. A nice job by Wagner. Wagner saw the blockers coming, said, I won't spike this one, I'll tap it around him, and was able to successfully get Highland into the double-digit plateau, but they trail it 21-10, Highland does. So a lot of work to come to get right back in this set, but capable they are. Katie Pearson now putting this one in motion and set up her teammates up front. They just haven't been able to finish things off. That's finished off up front. Katie Heese is starting to warm up for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Ashley Stevenson in on the back row for Highland. On the near side of your video screen in the gold unis. Libero donning the navy uni. Punched up here. Nice job and an attack by Coy. Orozco. Nice double stuff up front. I'm afraid I got some bad news. You just got stuffed there, the Scotties say. And an 11 points on the board. There's down, though, 11, 22-11. They've got plenty still to go. And it will go over to Northeastern Oklahoma. And I was waiting to see what the whistle was about exactly. And a violation up at the net. And the Scotties have done more detriment to themselves, unfortunately, that have compounded upon. And Lady Norse took advantage of it. Credit to them for doing so. But Highland sees a serve go all the way to back row where it's picked up. Set up down the middle. Kleitz with a spike, but on the back row. Bumped high at the top of the net. Here comes the attack down the power alley. It's Garcia. Kleitz wins the joust at the top of the net. Here's a Lady Norse answer from the back row on an attack by Montanez, and it sails long. Too much mustard on the shot. And Highland back in business with the serve. Highland trailed by as many as 11 in this set. 23-12 the score there. There's an ace, though. Nice job there, dialing it in. No answer that time by the Lady Norse. And Delia Kleitz, the Osawatomie native, gets the ace, but then unfortunately proceeds to follow suit with a service error, making it a set point situation for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. 24-13 here in set number one. Highland again started this set off pretty well, but then it got tied at 6-6. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M established their first lead at 7-6 and actually haven't relinquished that lead since that point. Here's a set down the middle for Kohala. Gets it through the defense, but good pickup on that back row by the Lady Norse. Johnson swoops in on the second hit. Set up this time. Good quick attack by Kohala up front. Joining her there, and right there's a spike to Pearson's face. Highland somehow kept it alive, dug out in the net by Orozco. Here to the near side, punched off the palm by Carrie Fisher, who's seeing action for the first time here in this first set. From the back row, it's Mallory Wagner from Atchison, Kansas. Blocked again, but that will carry him out of bounds, and that will do it. Good volley back and forth between the two, but ultimately Highland falling back and far behind in that early on part of the set, leading to a 25-13 first set in favor of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Set two when we return. You're listening to Highland Community College volleyball action and watching it on the Scotty Sports Network. Well, set one didn't go the way of the Lady Scotties of Highland Community College. Started off pretty solidly with some serves from Kirsten Johnson, but ultimately the Lady Norse of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M fought back, took a 7-6 lead, which they would not relinquish. They actually managed to get up by double digits at a couple different junctures in the set and win it 25-13. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M took set one against Highland Community College. So Scotties would like to put that one in the rearview mirror and turn their attention to this second set so they can even the matchup up. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M in the white unis with the blue numerals and letters. The libero dons the blue with a little bit of like a goldish numeral and letters on there. Highland in the gold unis with the navy blue numerals and letters. The libero in the navy blue with the yellow numerals for themselves. Bumped up that time, spiked over on the far sideline. Orozco, though, sends it into the net. And Highland can't let themselves, get frazzled. I mean, if they, want to see things go their way, got to stay disciplined. Do what you've been doing so far this season that has made you 4-1 so far. Kleitz blocked up front, but that's going to actually hit the top of the net and lead to the fourth hit. So they say not even touched by the Lady Norse. And a 2-0 start for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Highland wants to kind of nip this one quickly. There's a little tap over by Kleitz and another whistle and a violation up front. Coach John Bingesser telling the gals to get involved, get into the action quickly here. 3-0 Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. They continue to serve it from the near side of the court. Bumped up sky high by Pearson. From the back row, Johnson sends it over on a set attack. Back row, they're set. Now here's a spike, that time by Starks. And looks like it'll go out of play. So Highland Community College catches the break in that situation. Makes it 3-1. And back to serve, Mallory Wagner, the Atchison product. Spiked there through the defense. Adna DeAndre. DeAndre with the spike up on the front row for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Here's Pearson sets up Kleitz. Kleitz gets it through the defense. Finally a break for the Scotties. I mean, the blocks have been on point for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and they've seemingly been in every right position and angle to have an answer to Highland's spikes or block some shots, but Kleitz will get that to go and sneak it through that front row defense. Emma Kohala now up front and as well, joining the likes for the Scotties here in this situation. Tapped over to the far side. Leslie Polanco is seeing some action now despite the wrist injury. She's up front as well with Kohala and Orozco. Pearson with the back set for Carrasco. Back there, it's the end line. They won it. It looked close. And lines judges conversing for the moment, but they look to say that it will go out of bounds. I thought it may have dotted the I and hit that in line perhaps, but just a little bit too far out. So Highland doesn't get the benefit of the call that time. Short set for Kohala, but it's swallowed up at the top of the net again. And Northeastern Oklahoma A&M continues to be a pest up at the top of the net for Highland. 6-2 lead for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Swooping in, Orozco will send it over, and Coy will strike. Nice job for Coy getting the smack down. 14 kills headed into this one out of the 5 matches played. Coy has 3 matches this season with 4+ kills. Best career game was 6 kills in the last game against Indian Hills. There's a set attack, and Highland unprepared for it, almost a campfire situation where it just fell right in the middle of the group of the Lady Scotties. And again, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M catching Highland Community College off guard. Mike Smith with you here on the Scotty Sports Network. Streaming worldwide, ScottyAthletics.com to find all the links for the action. I'll have play-by-play of tomorrow's 9 o'clock game against MCC Longview, but the Scotties will play 4 games in their tournament. That one has too much on it, airmailed out of play, and Garcia sent it long. So Highland is the beneficiary in that situation, but Scotties down 7-4. Leslie Polanco, who has 68 kills on the season, but that's 4.25 kills per set so far this year. There's a nice little short set by Pearson. Took a hollow down the middle. But again, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has answers. As Polanco sets it up. Blocked up front once more on that far side. On a spike, had opportunity by Mallory Wagner. But just seemingly seeing that Northeastern Oklahoma A&M happens to be in the right spot at the right time every single time almost for what Highland wants to execute offensively. As Polanco swoops in off the palm of her hand, sends it to the back row. That's just punched into the air by Heese. And nice attack by Pearson. Instead of setting her teammate up, she went up for a spike of her own. That's pushed over to the far side. Wagner dives to the floor, gets her hand on it, but couldn't send it back in the trajectory for her teammates to make a play. And now a 9-4 advantage, 5-point lead for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Johnson receives the serve on the back row. Kohala punches that one, but again, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M right in the right avenue and angle to receive the spikes. Not that time, though. Smashing it to the hardwood, tattooing it to the floor. Emma Kohala finally breaks through for Highland as she's able to put a crevice in the hardwood with a nice spike. Kohala will go back to serve it up. Polanco's on the floor with her. Kleitz up front, Wagner as well. Pearson on the floor with Johnson. Striking like a viper, it's Z. Zelia Kleitz up front like a snake. Just that quick bite right there at the top of the net and viciously throws it down. Makes it a 9-6 contest. Highland, though, down by 3. There's a back set. It squirts through. There's a spike by Moore, the freshman from Missouri, Buffalo, Missouri, for the Lady Norse. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M first to double digits in this second set, leading 10-6. They have not trailed in this set to Highland as Wagner's shot blocked up front of the spike, and a quick answer, winning at the point of attack, DeAndre. So Highland with the great back-to-back plays from Kohala and Kleitz. They ultimately couldn't string more than that together here at this point. Down the power alley, swooping in and reeling back with a cannon shot. It's Zelia Kleitz. Kleitz with another spectacular kill. Zelia, one of the sophomores returning for the Scotties this year. 70 kills entering today's matchup through the first 5. Zelia packs some pepper in that situation, making it 11-7. Still in favor of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. They set it to the near side, flicks off the fingertips and bumped out of play backwards. So Highland still can't get that stretch run that they want to, put things, a little bit tighter, close the gap. Not that the gap's big, it's 12-7 after that last point, but they want a miniature run, maybe of 3-4 consecutively to close that gap a little bit more, make it a little more pressure on Northeastern Oklahoma A&M at this juncture. Still young into set 2 after Northeastern Oklahoma A&M took this first set. That's punched out of bounds on a lateral hit by Heese. Highland has to, take those miscues from their opponent and pile up on them. I mean, they've got to be able to string points consecutively with that. Short set that time, stuffed up front. The double stuff up there, just like the Oreos. As that one, a great play by Kleitz. And looked like Orozco jumping in on the block too. And 9 on the tallies for Highland, but they trail it by 3. Set up down the middle and down the alley, a vicious sky-high spike from DeAndre. I'll give credit where credit's due. I mean, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has had answers to what Highland's thrown at them to try to get back in this one for the Scotties, but 13-9, Highland starting to maybe play a little bit more consistently is where they've been able to play so far this year. On the back row, it's bumped up by Wagner and punched over by Polanco. Set up to the near side. The spike again gets over the top of the defense. The blocks are, lining up in the proper angles, you would argue, for Highland. It's just the Northeastern Oklahoma A&M is able to find that sliver of daylight to sneak them through on the spike opportunities. 14-9 now. Lofty serve that just kind of lobs over the top of the net. Kleitz with a spike, and it goes off the fingertips of a Lady Norse defender. Zelia stepping up big here in this second set, coming up with some nice plays all around, helping her team get back into the action. Nice punch up back into the air. It actually hits over back to the Northeastern Oklahoma A&M side. Polanco with a quick punch up. Kohala saves it after Pearson got the initial hit. Here's the answer from the Lady Norse. Just a quick punch. Orozco back over a bump on the head. Here's Polanco with a spike, reeling out of bounds. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M will bump it from the back row and send it long. Nice job. Celebration from the bench for the Scotties, because that volley had both teams in bad predicaments, but they were able to both fight out of situations. Highland ultimately, though, the beneficiary of the point. 14-11, and a long answer there again is out of play. And this is just what the doctor ordered for the Scotties, drawing to within 2, 14-12. We'll see if they can have a continuation of this momentum. Try to go for the block, but it's spiked into the net. That would have been 4 hits. That's what they would call, because it didn't make it back over. And that is now a 3-0 run, I believe, for the Lady Scotties. Pushed up into the air. Highland trying to go for the double block. It sneaks over the front of that double block opportunity. Polanco's shot blocked, though, up front. Leslie gets stuffed. There's 2 gals combined for that block up front. (15-13). Northeastern Oklahoma A&M again has not trailed in this second set to Highland. Polanco down the power alley. It's quickly answered, but it's going to go out of play. Wait, did it go in? Oh, wow. The near side lines judge saying that saying that it goes in. Head coach John Bingesser maybe just conversing to get some confirmation. I thought it may have went on the wrong side of the antenna, which would have then ruled it out of bounds in that nature, but apparently my eyesight deceiving me in that situation. So the lead's back up to 3. Here's a back set here as Orozco's spike is blocked once more as well. 17-13. Highland clawed to back within 2 just a moment ago, but lead is expanded back out for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, who owns the serve. Pearson set down the middle. Kohala gets it off the fingertips. 3 gals go for the block, so that left no one else that in case it went awry, and which it did, caromed off of the front line defense of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Yeah, you just get that proper angle. Blocked up front. No thank you card sent by Kohala as she was able to swat that away. Orozco with the serve from the far side for Highland. Try for the block. Dinosaur dig up in the net. Just kind of the hands right out in front. Gets it to stay alive for Highland by Pearson. Quick tap attack. Good play by Polanco to back up her front line defense. Now Northeastern Oklahoma A&M's got to bump it from the back row. They do so with their libero, Stanley. Pearson's short set attack here's from Kohala. To the floor, pancake save. No. Kohala again. Nice job by Emma. Emma 42 kills entering today, 2.63 per set. 10 blocks as well for Emma. Came up with a block just a little while ago. That was a big play. And a lift on Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. And don't look now, this set is tied, 17 all, and this is the first time it's been knotted up in this matchup. Highland has not led in set 2, and let's try to come back here. A little set attack over the top of the back of the head. Kohala tries to spike. It goes on to the Lady North side as they had a joust at the top of the net. Kleitz picks it up on the back row. Set for Kohala again. Quick tap attack, and it didn't make it over. 4 hits on Highland. And Scotties will have to wait a few more points to try to take their first lead of this second set. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M asserted themselves early to establish a lead. Highland, though, fought back into it, got to within 2. Then it went back up to 4-point lead for the Scotties' opponent. Lead now back to 1, 18-17. Serve goes all the way to the back in line where Kleitz awaited it. Here's Orozco's attack down the heart of the defense of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. And Kohala swallows another one at the top of the net, gets the block. And we're tied again, 18 all. So Kohala perhaps putting things in motion, helping the Scotties. It was Zelia Kleitz early on in this set. Spiked down the alley, and Kohala tried to block that, but could not get the hands up fast enough. Juliet Moore with the spike for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, who continues to just hold Highland at bay at this juncture. Good crowd is formed here at the Walters Wellness Center. Hopefully a good crowd as well watching on the Scotty Sports Network for the action. This will be bumped over to the far sideline, punched over there to the back row. Here comes the attack down the middle. Scotty's had to pick it up. Orozco chasing after it. They'll bump it over the back of her head, does Pearson. Here to the near side setup. Quick tap over. Good swoop in by Orozco. Pearson with a set attack. Just punched it over on the second hit. Try for the block again. And there's Northeastern Oklahoma A&M threading the needle on the near side with the spike. It regained the lead by 19-18. Now 20-18. Highland falling in set one, 25-13. Scotties want to even the matchup up, though, right here. There's a back set and set up for Wagner down the alley, but saved, flying to the floor with a great dig. Polanco picks it up on the back row, though, on the bump. Set up over for Wagner again, and Wagner squirts it through the defense. That's the breaks that Highland needs. They're not catching those right now on consistent basis throughout this first matchup of the Highland Community College Invitational. Emma Kohala back to serve it up. Katie Pearson on the floor. Zelia Kleitz as well. Mallory Wagner remains. Leslie Polanco and Kirsten Johnson rounding out the six on the floor for Highland. But Northeastern Oklahoma A&M continues to have an answer to the Scotties, 21-19. And Charity Burdett, who was very active in set one for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, is back to serve. Here's a back set to the near side. Kleitz flicks it off the fingertip. Now the Lady Norse, but diving to the floor. Garcia saves it. There's a whistle and violation on Highland. Scotties can ill afford here, down in crunch time of set two for mistakes, either team really. But here comes the serve from Burdett, goes down the middle. Polanco receives it. Kleitz, little tap home and no answer. Great job by Zelia. She was able to catch them off guard. Diving to the floor was Garcia, but found that little hole that there was in the defense. Tried for the block and thought Kleitz was going to reel back, and punch it with some velocity, but not so fast. And Kleitz was able to catch Northeastern Oklahoma A&M off guard. Well, Lady Norse do the same. As much as I say Highland's able to catch them off guard, their opponents do the same right back to the Scotties. Make it a 23-20 contest. Again, Highland managed to tie it up at 17 all. But Northeastern Oklahoma and A&M has held the Scotties at bay for this juncture. Kleitz now spiked it. Garcia picks it up on the back row, set up to the near side. The spike, Johnson in on that one, and Scotties celebrating, thinking that it did go their way. Johnson did move out of the way. I was unsure if she was able to get out of the way, but she got out of there, and that long answer that time. Quick tap there by Kleitz again. Striking quickly up front. Just pouncing on the opportunity, Zelia did. Z with a great spectacular play at the top of the net and makes it a one-point contest. Blocked by Polanco, shoved back over by Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, though. Here's Kleitz with a spike. Cha-ching! Ring it down. It's tied 23 all here in the latter part of set two, and Highland not out of it. They try to come back after trailing most of this set and take it. A serve in favor of the Scotties on the far side of the court. And it put up in motion right now for Highland. Oh, man, what a spike and a vicious one at that. Sent straight down by DeAndre. And again, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M continues to have an answer. We are at set point as well, 24-23. So Highland needs a tally in their favor right now for some extra points here in this second set. As Kleitz with a little finesse play again, and it will go out of bounds. And that will be it for set 2. So good opportunity for Highland there to try to get that point, but it just goes a little bit out of bounds on the near sideline. And good fight from the Scotties to get back into that set, but they fall short 25-23 in set 2. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M taking that second set. We'll be back for the third set when we return for this action here on the Scotty Sports Network. We roll into set number 3. You're listening and watching the Highland Community College volleyball team. First home games of the season. The Highland Community College Scotties hosting their invitational, their annual invitational. They're 4-1 on the season, the Scotties are. Lost only to Indian Hills back on Wednesday, but went 4-0 at the Southeast Tournament in Beatrice to open up the season. Their first opponent of 4 in the HCC Invitational is Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and Northeastern Oklahoma A&M took the first 2 sets. Set 1, 25-13. Set 2, a little bit tighter, 25-23, but same outcome as far as Northeastern Oklahoma A&M getting the set victory over the Scotties. Highland trying to fight back, and they'll have to win this matchup and win 3 consecutive sets, forcing, ultimate 5th set, but you worry about the set at hand at this point to force the next one. Zelia Kleitz was very active in that last set, by the way. She had 7 total kills on 13 attempts. Emma Kohala with 3 total kills in the second set. Kleitz also had 7 digs. So Zelia showcasing herself in pretty big fashion in that second set, and really is one of the gals that spearheaded the ultimate opportunity for Highland to get right back in that set and be competitive all the way down to the final tallies of that one. So we switch sides of the court. Highland back to the near side in the gold unis, and of course the navy for the libero. Back set by Pearson over to the far side. Orozco with the spike, backpedaling as Northeastern Oklahoma A&M is able to get that. Johnson gets it up into the rafters. Poranco comes up with it, and then Pearson bumps it over the back of her head to keep the volley alive. There's a spike that goes long, and Highland starts off with the lead. There we go. That's a positive sign for the Scotties to start off this set with the lead. Now, they had an initial lead in the very first set. Team stayed tight and was 6-6, and then Northeastern Oklahoma and A&M took the lead, which they would not relinquish in that first set. Set up to the near side, spike by Katie Heese, who's been active on the flip side for the Lady Norse here so far. And Taya Barnett, nice job going down the alley. Scotty's off to a 2-0 start. Trying to find that groove that they have needed, level of consistency that they would want here in the contest. Serve comes, a booming one at that, and making the gal that received it in Burdett had to backpedal. Highland thought they had the point for a moment. Kleitz another vicious spike, and there's a momentarily answer. Wow, somehow the Lady Norse kept that alive again. Here's Kleitz again, smashes it to the floor. Zelia is pumped. There we go. Nice job by Kleitz to finish that off. A couple different opportunities where the Scotties thought they had that spike go down, but Z with the finish, and it's a 3-0 start for the Scotties to set 3. And an ace that time, no answer. Scotties feeling it here to start off set 3. Some good mojo to get them rolling. Katie Pearson continues to serve it up. Leslie Polanco on the floor. Zelia Kleitz, as I mentioned. Coy Orozco as well. Kirsten Johnson and Taya Barnett on the floor as well. Down the power alley, Polanco right there to dig it out. And a spike on the far side, Orozco, and it's going to go out of play. Yeah, Orozco. Nice job in showing emotion that time for Coy, and it's a 5-0 start for the Scotties. Pearson continues the serve for Highland. Keep this string alive. Line drive serve at that. Barnett chases after it at the net, and they're going to call a violation at the net on the Scotties. Taya Barnett is the whistled party, unfortunately, in that situation. So Highland, unfortunately, seeing their strong start to this third set, spoiled by a miscue of their own. Spiked into the block. Here's the Lady Norse's answer. They'll go towards the middle on a back row attack that's spiked by Katie Heese, and she delivers it to the floor. So after the miscue, it's 2 consecutive tallies on the board now for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. 5-2 Highland, though, owning the lead by 3. Scotties haven't had, a sizable lead. This is really one of the biggest leads, 5-0. There's an ace for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M as it caroms off Johnson's outstretched hands. And now it's 5-3. 3 unanswered by Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Pearson, little short set to Kleitz, who gets it rejected. Nice job, though, by Orozco to pick it up, and they actually called 4 hits on the Scotties. Thought they were able to, it was blocked, but it did go back to Highland's side. 4 hit is the call, and there's a service error that spoils the Northeastern Oklahoma A&M run. That would have tied that if they would have gotten another point, because they had clawed back to within 1. Now 6-4. As Barnett gets the serve. Little short set to the near side here. And too long once more. Highland ducks out of the way. Nobody touched it. And good job with that one. Set up to the near side again. Katie Heese has been an active player up front. Charity Burdett was set up for the Lady Norse early on, but it's been Heese a lot more as of late. Also the likes of Andrade, but it's stuffed up at the net once more. Access denied by Highland. And it's 8-4. The Scotties have doubled Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Picked up by their libero, Stanley. There's a spike down the alley. Pearson was in the vicinity and picked it up. Polanco swoops in off the palm. And Leslie's playing with the hurt wrist, so she's maybe not packing as much punch as she normally would, but Leslie will get that one to fall, and Highland now feeling the mojo again that they started off this set with. Back up by 5 again, 9-4. Polanco had that wrist taped up yet again right before this third set. Didn't play really in set number 1 much at all because she thought maybe he wouldn't be able to do so. That goes out of play. Tried to thread the needle and dot the I on the near inline, on the near sideline, but couldn't do so. And Highland's the first to double digits in set 3, and Northeastern Oklahoma A&M being down 10-4 needs a timeout to corral their troops, but the Scotties playing here more consistently like I'm sure they were to start off the season here in this set. And once they got down by a little bit of a margin in set 1, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M kind of controlled that first set, winning 25-13. Then in set 2, it was Northeastern Oklahoma A&M taking the initial lead, which they ultimately never did relinquish, although the Scotties did tie it at 17-17 and 23-23 and fought back into that one. Zelia Kleitz was spectacular in that set with a multitude of plays in different capacities, 7 kills and 7 digs in that set at 2 alone by Kleitz. Emma Kohala was very active as well and integral to that. And Katie Pearson has done a good job of setting up her teammates. Now, Highland has had good looks, at the net for their spikes, but ultimately Northeastern Oklahoma and A&M has been just in the right place at the right time, down in the avenues and the power alleys, and has the right spots to receive those spikes and everything. And there's a let serve into the net, spoiling Highland's little miniature run again. So Highland up 10-4 momentarily. That was their largest lead of the matchup, which led to that timeout, by the way, by Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Good double block up front, but the volley continues. Gets through Kleitz's fingertips and Orozco as well. And Northeastern Oklahoma A&M gets another on the board, making it 10-6. Highland with another 5-0 run would be ideal at this juncture. Kind of put some cushion in between. There's a let serve as Honda DeAndre puts it into the net for the Lady Norse. Lady Norse only have logged 3 games coming into this tournament. They were 2-1. Highland, of course, had logged 5 matches coming into their tournament. On the back row, it's bumped sky high. Polanco with the attack from the near side, and Leslie knocks it down. Good job off the back row defender. It actually bumped backwards, and Polanco and company now with 12 on the board. Highland has again doubled up Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, this time at a 12-6 margin. Stanley close to maybe a lift. Good block by Kohala, but Lady Norse have an answer. They'll set attack it to the back row, diving for it. Outstretched hands just short by Zelia Kleitz, and can't come up with it. Fingertips away on that far sideline. Johnson on the back row. Polanco joining her. Kleitz as well. Kohala up front. Pearson and Orozco. The 6 on the floor for the Lady Scotties at this point to the near side. Polanco skies high. Spring to her step. Bazinga knocks it down. Knocks down the shot. Leslie Polanco from the outside hitter position. Skying high. Springs in her shoes. Bumped up going to the middle, and well, actually I thought that was going to go for more, but she let it go and to her different teammate. Kohala now with it. Backpedaling, the Lady Norse had an answer for it momentarily. Kleitz with a bump. There's Polanco with a little finesse style attack and taps it home. Things are cooking right for Highland right now. Head coach John Bingesser now putting the right ingredients together for this to work. Diving dig by Kleitz, and they save it over the top of the back of her head off the bump by Kohala to keep it alive. And then there's a fault at the net by Northeastern Oklahoma and A&M to cap it off. And now 15-7. Spectacular diving play. Zelia Kleitz has been flying all over the floor like she's wearing a cape. She is just showcasing a tremendous amount of effort. Blocked by Polanco. Rejected at the point of attack as Leslie Polanco ate that for lunch. And now it's 16-7. Orozco with the serve. That one packs some pepper there. Quick attack. Polanco saves it. Spiked there by Pearson. Katie Pearson swoops in and knocks it down. Katie, of course, the setter with 128 assists coming into today, but also registered 10 kills. So has the capability of providing the offensive statistic, but of course sets up her teammates with more regularity. There's the bounce to the step for Polanco again, and Leslie strikes. 17-8, and all Highland right now. This is exactly what they needed. They needed a situation like this with a big stretch run to give themselves a cushion and also build their confidence moving forward. Of course, being down 2-0 in the process as well. Good spike there, though, by Katie Heese. On the flip side is Northeastern Oklahoma A&M finally puts an end to the run of Highland. But Highland led 17-8. Their largest lead at any juncture between the 3 sets. We're in set 3 of the first matchup of the HCC Invitational. And Barnett gets that hit, but again, it goes out of bounds. She tried to dot the I on the near sideline. Taya just a little bit offline in her spike opportunity. Pearson sets it up for Kohala, and there we go. That finesse-style play up front. You don't necessarily always have to, pack that punch on a vicious spike. You can get points and tallies in other capacities, and Emma Kohala just tapped it home there for Highland to swing it back in their favor as far as the serve and the score. They get another on the board as it hits the antenna on the answer by Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and the lead up to 9. Largest lead of this set 3, and for Highland overall in the first 3 sets combined. And into the near side, goes into the stands and out of play. Highland up to 20 points on the board, and Northeastern Oklahoma A&M needs a timeout. So Highland has flipped the script here in this third set as they were able to do something that Northeastern Oklahoma A&M kind of did to them in set 1. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, after it was a 6-6 tie in set 1, established a lead and then expanded upon that lead to get up by double digits where Highland is right now, 20-10. Coming out of this timeout here, it will be that score. But Highland Community College has been able to put things together for the Scotties right here. Several different gals have stepped up, but it's been spearheaded by the sophomore from Osawatomie, Zelia Kleitz, who has been very good and very strong. Spectacular diving dig. This one notable play that just stands out to me in this third set alone from Zelia, but some kills as well. Leslie Polanco muscling through a hurt wrist, but has had that spring to her step and comes up with some big-time hits from an outside hitter position as well here so far. 20-10, and double hit on the side of the Lady Norse. And Highland, where they had some, Highland hasn't had many miscues overall as far as, mental mistakes in this matchup, but unfortunately for them, the ones they did have, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M made sure that they padded in a few other points along with them. Highland's doing that too. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M here. Cha-ching! Ring it up again. It's Zelia Kleitz once more. Like a superhero right there with a big Z on her chest for Zelia. Skying high and laying the wood. 22-10. All Highland here in set 3. Lady Norse will bump it over, that time by DeAndre on the far side. Down the middle, Kleitz set up again by Pearson. Lady Norse have an answer. They go to the far side. Barnett gets to it, and it was just touched to Pierce. That was Kohala on the fingertips, but Highland has established a nice cushion to work with. Now, you don't want to obviously let up and keep the pedal to the floor here in this third set and finish it off. Try to cap and finish this thing at 22-12. Polanco on the back row. Here's Pearson set to the near side. Barnett down the power alley. Yeah! As Taya Barnett down the alley she goes on the spike. Orozco back in up front. Kleitz and Barnett in there as well. Kohala. Pearson is back to serve. Polanco on the floor for the Scotties too. 23-12 here in set 3. Highland asserted themselves early in this set, going up 5-0. Oh, just saving that. Did the Lady Norse somehow kept it alive in the volley here. Barnett again down the alley. No answer that time. Wallops it to the floor as Taya Barnett with 2 great deliveries. Straight down the pipe and right into the heart of the defense in that power alley. Set point for Highland at 24-12. And Katie Pearson, a nice serve. Ooh, that one was on a line drive laser beam. Pearson swoops in to get the set to the near side. Barnett set up again. They have an answer, though, dug out on the back row. They'll have to bump it from that position by Burdett. The Lady Norse down to her knees. Pearson gets set. Kleitz's spike blocked for the moment. Onto the back row, and it goes long. Highland takes the third set and staves off this one to force a fourth set. 25-12. All Scotties from the onset of set 3, going up 5-0 before Northeastern Oklahoma and A&M even really knew what hit them in that set. And Highland wins set 3, 25-12. So we'll have a set 4 when we return. You're watching the action on the Scotty Sports Network. Well, Highland Community College fell in the first 2 sets to their first opponent of the HCC Invitational. Mike Smith alongside with you here, the new voice of the Scotties, as we'll bring you football tomorrow afternoon. Kickoff slated for a 1 o'clock start as Highland opening up the season 1-0 football capacity. They'll take on Garden City tomorrow afternoon, hosting the defending national champions, third-ranked team in the country. We'll also have volleyball tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock as Highland will play MCC Longview, as that game will have play-by-play of tomorrow. Also catch the other 2 Scotty games, or actually we'll have at least the other Scotty game for today on the Scotty Network, along with all the rest of the action here on Court A for the HCC Invitational. Scotties fell in the first 2 sets to their opponent, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, 25-13 and 25-23, but the Scotties fought back and won set 3 decisively, 25-12. Kleitz with just a little finesse tap over here as the serve was on the favor of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. A back row attack leads to the Lady Norse striking first in this 4th set. Quick gander at some stats from set 3. 4 digs for Leslie Polanco, 3 for Coy Orozco as well. Leslie Polanco with 5 kills in that last set as well. Back set there that time over to the far side and off the fingertips, paint brushing a Scotty. Taya Barnett trying to track it down, but it's a 2-0 start for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Highland started off a blistering pace in set 3, up 5-0 before Northeastern Oklahoma A&M knew it hit them. There's Zelia Kleitz splitting the defense, sending it to the hardwood and making it 2-1. Kleitz, her best game in a match was 20 kills overall in the contest. Had 5 blocks, actually. The 20 kills actually just came recently against Indian Hills. And Highland knocks that away. It's off the fingertips as well of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Love the enthusiasm of volleyball gals, of course, that they get, so much and so much energy just in one point. Pearson is serving. Polanco's on the floor as well with Johnson on the back row. Kleitz with a set. Here's Pearson now setting up Zelia down the middle. And it's blocked back in the face of Kleitz and Highland. And that block leads to the Lady Norse getting their 3rd point, making it 3-2. Eerily similar how we started set 1 here to start this set 4. Is back and forth for a little while before Northeastern Oklahoma A&M started to assert themselves. That'll go out of bounds from Taya Barnett's answer. And now it's a 4-2 lead for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Polanco bumps it up. Pearson with a short set for Kleitz. And diving and digging it out on that back row. And tried to swat that. Tried to win it at the point of attack. Orozco chased after it. But going sky high and sending it down. A great play by Talionette Garcia for the Lady Norse. Back to serve again, Katie Heese, who's been a pest to Highland throughout this matchup. Heese has been ultra active all over the floor for the other team, and that's knocked down to the floor. Highland's got an answer, and Highland hanging tough early on, 5-3. Scotties swing it back to their favor. Barnett will transition back to serve. Scotties on the far side of the court, coming to the near side to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. There's a set sky high in the air, back row attack by Burdette. And Polanco punches it off the palm. Bumps it over the back of the head. Leslie's there to pick it up down the middle. Just bumped it right back over on the very first hit. And there's the answer down the middle. Johnson tries to dig it out. Gets her hands just underneath it to get a piece of it. But kind of a low trajectory sent off of her fingertips and falls to the floor. 6-3. Highland trailing by 3. Quick attack, winning at that top. You know, there's those balls, 50-50 opportunities at the top of the net they call joust in volleyball. And it's a situation where each team really has an opportunity, and an equal opportunity at that, to win at the point of attack. And, well, Northeastern Oklahoma won at the point of attack in that situation, and they chased after it themselves. Timeouts here with a 7-3 lead for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. As Highland calls the timeout because the Scotties have to win this set to force the 5th set after losing the first 2 sets here. The first set was a 25-13 final in favor of the Northeastern Oklahoma A&M squad. Second set was a tighter one as Highland fell down early on but fought back into that and ultimately fell only by 2, 25-23. Set 3 was controlled by the Scotties. They win that set 25-12. And we're now here in set 4 with a 7-3 score. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M right now in the driver's seat. Dug out at the net, and they get it over. The Scotties kept that volley alive somehow after really probably not what they wanted. Nice job by Johnson to dig it out in the power alley. Orozco, and gets it off the fingertips of the Lady Norse, and Coy, great spike from her from the near side. Lady Scotties laying out on the floor, striking it down. Johnson with a great dig on the back row to come up with that, and was able to successfully really keep that volley alive for Highland, which ultimately led to them getting their 4th point on the board. Let serve. I thought that one might just sneak over the top of the net, but Kleitz serve and delivery into the net for the let serve, making it 8-4. Back off to the near side for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M in the white unis with the blue numerals and letters. Kohala misfires on the spike. Got a piece of it, but kind of a whiff shot. Not exactly the right angle she would want on that situation. Here comes a jump serve again from the far in line. Polanco picks it up. Pearson sets it up for Polanco and spikes it here. That one coming over towards the broadcast area. Leslie Polanco knocks it down with some authority. Lays the thump. And Polanco makes it a 9-5 score. Set up to the middle, partially blocked. Highland, though, sees it on their side. Johnson saves it for a moment, but no one else after her there for the 3rd hit. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, the double digits here in this 4th set, up by 5, 10-5. Highland needs a little run in themselves here before they see the lead grow any by exponential, opportunities for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Nice job there. You win right there at the top of the net. I mean, you had it, 50-50 ball, both teams with a hand on it, but Highland wins it as they shove it back in the face of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Polanco skies high with a serve, straight down the pipe. Finesse play there, diving to the floor, and goes out of bounds. Nice diving save, but like I said, the save goes out of bounds towards the scorer's table, and no real angle to keep the volley alive for Highland to track it down, even in, the out of bounds capacity. Johnson pushes this back into the air. Kleitz will bump it. Polanco with a back row attack on the spike. It's picked up by Burdett, though, on that far side for the Lady Norse. Gohala now with the spike. And didn't get the fingertips. Lady Norse laid off of it, apparently. Jaden McCarthy checking in up front for Highland now. McCarthy will anchor up front position. Instead, attack by Pearson is blocked. Johnson now has it off the bump to the near side. Barrett's shot blocked but out of play. And Highland will get that point go in their favor. The Scotties, though, need more than one right now in consecutive fashion. Only down by 5, but 12-7 lead for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. And we'll see what Highland can do here with the serve. There's a spike down the alley, and man, it was tattooed. McCarthy, the recipient of one in the face. 13 now on the board for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Coley Aransko back in for the Scotties, as the Lady Norse of Northeastern Oklahoma A&M serve this one with Marley Hensty. Save it going into the bench. Highland had to send that back. They do get it back in the vicinity there. Dug out at the net, and they'll punch it up, but out of play. McCarthy got the third hit, but didn't go back over the net. Highland did a good job to dig it out in the net. Letting things unravel here, as it's a 7-point cushion now for Highland's opponent. It's 14-7 in set 4. Highland has to win this set, of course, to force the 5th and decisive set. Scotty's going to need a little stretch run in them right now. Orozco with the attack from the back row. Quick tap over, good swoop in by Orozco to pick it up. Kleitz now taps it over, didn't make it. It didn't make it over, hit the top of the net that time. And now 15-7. Head coach John Bingesser wants another timeout, noticing things maybe getting away from the Lady Scotties in this scenario. We'll take a timeout with them as you're watching on the Scotty Sports Network, Highland Community College Sports, as the HCC Invitational getting underway with the Scotties taking on Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Highland out of the timeout, hoping to rekindle some of what they had in set 3, where they won 25-12. But right now, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M leading 15-7 here in set 4. Skying high again, bouncing on those springs from her shoes. Polanco dives and digs it off of just her arm. Right off the extended arm. Leslie Polanco with a great, spectacular diving save. Double block up front as Northeastern Oklahoma A&M keeps it alive, pushes it over, and they call double hit on the Lady Norse. So Highland gets a point out of the timeout. Now they have the serve, so they need to keep that in their favor and swing some points to get this a little bit closer at 15-8 right now. Set up down the middle. Polanco gets it off the back row. Back set by Pearson to the near side. Spiked into the antenna by Orozco. And now 16-8. Serving from the near side of the end line, Katie Heese. And Heese will send it too long. Too much mustard on the serve there that time. And the error will push Highland to 1 point away from double digits in this second set. Taya Barnett with the serve. Back set over to the far side. Deandra gets the spike and goes all the way back on the answer by Highland on the pickup by Pearson. Double block up front, Morozco and Kleitz, and the Lady Norse reeling, but they get it over somehow. Here's Pearson, Kleitz with a spike and a whistle. Highland up at the net, the fault at the net. Kleitz wanting an explanation, but the referee stating that the violation on the Scotties. will lead to the 17th point for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. It looked like the Scotties were able to get a point there, but that violation spoiling things. Kleitz taps it over, trying to answer. They'll go down the middle, off the palm, lobbed up into the air. Johnson with the bump, goes to the far side. Polanco down the power alley as Heese picks it up. DeAndre, though, whiffs on that one. Got a piece of it off the bottom of her palm, it looked like, and hit it into the net. Highland gets to double digits here in set 4. But again, still trails by 7 at this juncture. Stretch run of what they did maybe to start off set 3 would be a good one here. They started off set 3 with a 5-0 run, did Highland. Libero on the back row, Stanley puts that one back in motion. Kohala sends it off Stanley's outstretched stance. What would have probably been out of play, but Stanley chases after it and in pursuit sends it behind her. And Emma Kohala finishes off that play, making it a 6-point contest. Orozco and Polanco joining Kohala up front. Kleitz back on the back row. Barnett as well, and Pearson. The 6 on the floor for the Lady Scotties. Oh, right there in front. It's over the top front line defense, but in the front of the second line for Highland. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M using a little bit of what Highland did to them. Those finesse, type plays where you just kind of tap it over. Back to 7-point lead at 18-11. Oh, rifling serve there that time for the Lady Norse. Cross-court set. Polanco is blocked. Man, what a stone wall for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M to block Leslie Polanco. Now the lead's up to 8 and 19-11. Highland flirting with a bad situation here as we're getting down to the nitty-gritty of this one as it just trickles over the net on the serve. Polanco punches it to the back row. Chasing after in pursuit was Stanley, and the block to no avail once again. Kohala up there to try to block it, but it gets off of her and goes out of play. Now the lead up to 9. It's 20-11. Highland trailing by 9 to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, who's already won 2 sets. With a set win here, they would win it. Polanco delivers it down to the floor. Leslie Polanco, though, says Highland's not done and out here in this matchup. Well, they still got a little bit of a mountain to climb. We're going to watch some volleyball come out to the Walters Wellness Center here on the campus of Highland Community College. Volleyball action going on all today and tomorrow. And you can also stream it on the Scotty Sports Network. Good save by Johnson. They'll have to bump it over. Polanco does so over the top of the back of her head. Tapped over. Who dived the floor. Pearson kept it alive. Johnson to the near side as Orozco spikes it down the alley. Stanley the libero over to the near side here and diving. It goes off the fingertips of a Scotty up front. Takes the wrong angle from that trajectory. And 21-12. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M winning the first 2 sets. Highland taking set 3 to force this 4th set here. Highland trailing right now 21-12. Punched into the net that time. Spiked but out of play. Long into the Highland bench. Scotties still have, life breathed into them. Johnson, the libero in the Navy jersey. I thought I was going to serve, but actually it's going to be Polanco. This is the substitutions. So Polanco back to serve. Leslie ready to put this one in motion. A couple of aces for Polanco so far this year, but not this time. Polanco digs it out on the back row. Pearson set to the middle. It's Kohala with the spike. But Lady Norse have an answer to the near side. Blocked for the moment. Barnett picks it up. Here's a spike answer by Pearson. Katie Pearson pierces the defense and knocks it home for Highland. A couple of tallies back-to-back for the Scotties, 21-14, but still room to go to get right back in it. Johnson's back in on the back row on the substitution. Polanco's serve goes out of play on the far sideline. And an unforced mistake gives Northeastern Oklahoma A&M their 22nd point of this 4th set. Now 22-14. Kohala spiked but blocked, but does fall on the Lady Norse's side despite the block. They go with the back row attack where Polanco now picks it up for the Scotties. Kohala Nice job there, bouncing it, pinballing it around between the blocker's hands and arms outstretched. And Emma Kohala knocking that one around, jostling it down through the Lady Norse defenders. 22-15. Back to a 7-point, though, lead still here for the Lady Norse. That's tapped and out of play. Lobbed too long. Highland disciplined enough to lay off of it. Scotties inching closer. Johnson with the serve. Lofts it down to the middle. They set it up to the far side there on a spike, and that is a good one for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Off the outstretched hands of Johnson and out of play. And Highland now having to fend off last couple of points from Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, who's up 23-16. To the back row. Now Pearson, little short set for Kleitz. Oh, with the facial. Right there that time. Garcia is going to have a nice tattoo on the face as Zelia Kleitz spikes it home. 23-17, excuse me, is the score. Pearson will serve it. Go to the near side off the set for the Lady Norse, and that's blocked. Ain't nobody got time for that, Roscoe says, with the rejection. And Highland maybe getting some juice pumped into him right here. 23-18. Here's Pearson's serve to the back row. He set it up down the middle. DeAndre, nice dig out there on the back row, though. Good punch over by Kleitz. As a nice answer. Spiked into the net, and Highland has got some momentum. 19 on the board. They've clawed back to within 4. Still work to go, though, for the Scotties. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has basically led the entirety of this set and got an early lead established early on. Short set here by Pearson. Kleitz gets it through again. Once more again, the gals up front. It's Z this time, and Emma Kohala earlier, pinballing it through the would-be blocking defenders. And Highland with that now has got 20 on the board, 23-20, as it is forced a timeout on their opponent's side. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M leading this one at this juncture, but only by 3, as the Scotties have found a bit of a groove and have had about 5 consecutive points put together here, leading to this Northeastern Oklahoma A&M timeout. Scotties need to win this set, of course, to try to be able to win this match. This would force a 5th set if Highland does come back to win it. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, though, only 2 points away from perhaps taking the set themselves. The Scotties, though, feeling the mojo. See if they can continue it. Katie Pearson continues to dial up the serve. Pearson puts the serve in motion, a lofty one to the back row where it's set up down the middle. DeAndre will get that to go, and now you've got set match point for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, and now it becomes even a, more backs against the wall type situation for Highland, because they had a little wiggle room, not much, when it wasn't match set point, but they have to get a consecutive string here. Kleitz will get that one to go. And Lady North save it, though, on the end line. They'll bump it back over. Polanco receives it on the back row. Down the middle, Kleitz with a nice vicious spike again. But, man, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M has had an answer. They've been in just about every good spot. Kleitz blocked up there on that spike. Highland saves it once more. They go to the far side. Barrett sneaks it through. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M thought they could celebrate, not quite yet. Highland will have to bump this over here. Barrett punches it off the palm. This volley has been maybe one of the longest ones the whole entire time. Polanco pushes it up into the air. Here's Barrett now, blocked, and that one is 4 hits and hit the top of the net. Man, just an unfortunate situation for Highland on how that one unfolded for the final point of the set and the match at that. 25-20, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M takes the match over Highland. Scotties fall to 4-2 on the season. They will play again coming up later on this evening, as we'll take a quick peek at some of the final statistics in just a little bit for the matchup. But Ultimately, we look back at how this one unfolded to wrap up the contest. It's Northeastern Oklahoma A&M winning in 4 sets over Highland. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M was down early to Highland in set 1, but established a 7-6 lead. And that point on, they did not relinquish the lead at that juncture. Went on to win set 1 25-13, established a double-digit lead, matter of fact, at multiple junctures in that first set. Then in set 2, Highland went down, but they battled back. Zelia Kleitz and Emma Kohala helped spearhead, especially Kleitz's performance in that set 2. Got it back to tie ball game, 17-17, 23-23. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, though, held them off for 25-23 set 2 victory. Set 3 was all Highland. They got off to a 5-0 start, actually got up to as large of a lead as double digits in that second set, and it led to a couple different timeouts for Northeastern Oklahoma A&M. Ultimately, Highland took set 3 25-12. Set 4, though, Northeastern Oklahoma A&M established an early lead despite Highland's best efforts to claw back into it in a 5-0 run that drew them within 3. Highland fell 25-20 in that set 4, ultimately finishing off the contest. Highland, again, will be in action against Southwestern Community College later on tonight at 5 p.m. You'll be able to catch that game here on the Scotty Sports Network. We'll have play-by-play again of the volleyball game at 9 o'clock tomorrow for MCC Longview, the opponent for the Scotties. Also, Highland Community College action for football tomorrow afternoon. Play-by-play of that on the Scotty Sports Network. Kickoff at 1 o'clock. We'll start pregame around 12:45 or so with an interview with head coach Aaron Arnold and such. But the Lady Scotties start off the HCC Invitational with a 4-set loss to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, 25-13, 25-23. Northeastern Oklahoma A&M takes the first 2 sets. Highland takes the third set, 25-12. Set 4 goes to Northeastern Oklahoma A&M, 25-20. Thanks for tuning in here on the Scotty Sports Network.